Hello, my name is Matthew, and we are on shelf 3 of my tiny house library tour, and we'll just get started. And the first book that we have is The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. It's the Penguin Classics edition, translated by David McDuff. And I just read this this past December, and I made a whole bunch of videos talking about my thoughts on the book, and I like the book. The next three there's three I can show you at once. And this is the 3-volume set of the Arabian Nights, the Tales of 1001 Nights. And I'll show you the covers. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. And this is an example of just having big eyes, but also showing my idealized idea of a library. Even if I don't read all of them, it's something that I just want on my shelves. Okay. Ravelstein by Saul Bellow, the other Penguin Classics. And I read this maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago. I made a video about it. It's one of his later novels, and there's some controversy surrounding the book, which I didn't know about when I read it or when I made my video about it. The Essays of Plutarch. This is great. It's a selection of his essays, and I absolutely love reading Plutarch. And so some of the essays, how to distinguish a flatterer from a friend, on being aware of moral progress. So they're just really insightful, thoughtful considerations of humanity and human nature and what it is to be a person, be a good person, a bad person. Okay, we have another travelogue by Mark Twain. This is The Innocents Abroad, or The New Pilgrim's Progress, and it's a modern library edition. This is Mark Twain and other people traveling through Europe, and this pairs up with A Tramp Abroad, which I showed yesterday. This would be the kind of partner to it. It has everything great that you want when you think about Mark Twain. Okay, we have some DVDs, and it's The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. This is part of a box set. I don't know where the third Godfather got to, but so more gangster movies. Okay, we have an early novel by Leo Tolstoy. This is Childhood, Boyhood, and Youth by a modern library. And I loved this. It's autobiographical. You get a sense of Tolstoy as a young man. I usually think about Tolstoy as this like wizened, old, craggly figure, but it's a novel that is much more youthful and a youthful and more vibrant idea of Tolstoy. More dialogues by Plato. This is Meno and Other Dialogues. Charmides, Laches, Lysis, Meno. And yeah, the dialogues of Plato can sometimes be really enjoyable. Okay, now we have an early novel by Dostoevsky, and I'll try to pronounce this. Nadachka Nezvenova. And this is a depressing. It's a sad novel full of loneliness and depression, and The interesting thing is, if you've read a few of his big books, the famous books, Crime and Punishment, Karamazov Brothers, um, if you go back and read his earlier works, you can see these themes that he had been mulling over and stewing, thinking about his whole life. Um, okay, here we go. So, this is a two-volume set of Plutarch's Lives, and this is the Modern Library Classics, and it's the Dryden translation. And this is the most complete um, set of Plutarch that I have. Um, it's funny. I showed on my first bookshelf tour. I showed the Oxford Classics of the Greek Lives by Plutarch, and Mark Richardson. His channel is Richardson Reads. He posted a picture of his four-volume Dryden translation from the Folio Society. It's this absolutely gorgeous edition with black and white illustrations and beautiful binding. It was just fabulous. Okay, another Russian. We have Chekhov, The Essential Plays, The Seagull, Uncle Vanya, The Three Sisters, and The Cherry Orchard. It's another modern library. Um, and I still haven't read all the plays here, but the two that I've read I really enjoyed. I enjoy everything I've read by Chekhov. Um, we have a pocket-sized book of the Dhammapada, and I love this little thing. It's these little poems that um, just have these great, simple, seemingly simple life lessons. So mindfulness, the mind, the fool, the wise, um, righteousness, anger, blemishes. Okay. So I have two of these that are similar, but what are these things called? It's a little, slim little book, and this is a short story by Marcel Proust called The Lemon Affair. I'm not sure how I pronounce that. And this is interesting that it was on the same shelf with um, the Tolstoy novel and the Dostoevsky novel. The great thing about those two is they have their big, intimidating works, but there's so many other spokes off of their literary work that are smaller and more approachable, ways to start seeing whether or not you like the author. And this thing is really not great. It's not a good representation of Proust. It's not anything memorable. And unfortunately, with Proust, I don't know of any shorter thing that you can read um, before you start Remembrance of Things Past. You can read Swan's Way or the first book, but um, not as poetry. Um, and then a poem. I'm sorry. It's like one of those prose poems by Charles Baudelaire, Fanfarlo. It's the same little edition. A Blu-ray of Inglorious Bastards. Buongiorno. Okay, now we have a French fabulist. This is La Fontaine, the complete fables of Jean de La Fontaine, and I love this. I'll show you. Again, this is something that I'll pick up every once in a while and open up to different pages and read some of these poems and fables. Okay. Consider the Lobster by David Foster Wallace. And yeah, maybe I like his short stories and essays. We have Flaubert and Turgenev, A Friendship in Letters. And this, I absolutely loved reading this. I'm a big fan of Flaubert. I'm a big fan of Turgenev, and to read their letter correspondence and see um, their different personalities and how their writing style is different when they're talking to one another, and how it's different from their novels, and they're talking about their personal lives and their emotions and work troubles, artistic dilemmas, how they've helped each other. Just absolutely amazing. I wish this was 3 times as thick. Okay, we have Steppenwolf by Hermann Hesse. I remember the first time I heard about this was my old friend Bob. He was, I guess, in his late 60s, something like that. And he recommended it. He said that he remembered reading it when he was a young man, and then he read it again as an old man, and he still enjoyed it. Okay, the Peace Cantos, the Peace Cantos by Ezra Pound. I think this is a New Direction paperback. Um, and so this is part of his larger, just the cantos when he was imprisoned in Pisa in Italy during the war and went insane and I guess wrote these poems. Uh, Again, this is something that I never go to it. I don't really need it. And then we'll end with a contemporary writer that I quite enjoy, which is Will Self, and this is Great Apes. It has a fantastic cover. Um, and so this is the premise of the book is along the lines of The Golden Ass by Apollonius, or um, The Nose by Nikolai Gogol, or The Metamorphosis by Kafka. What if one day we woke up and everybody were chimpanzees? And I've noticed that Will Self has a real talent for taking a great idea for a short story and turning it into a novel. So that's our third bookshelf. Let me know what you think. If you have any thoughts on the books that I showed, or about my opinions on those books, anything like that. Um, and thank you for watching. And leave a comment if you would like. And take care. Bye.